Hello everyone, I'm Kathryn DeSinaasappelen, and today we're going to be talking about emigrant and immigrant. This is probably going to turn into a rant because this topic sort of just gets under my skin. If you're not aware about the whole expat versus immigrant discussion, there are a group of people that will say that immigrants are basically brown people and expats are basically white people. I want to put in a little disclaimer because no country is a shining example of perfection. Every single country has its weeds. And so I am completely 100% sure that there most likely are people who use these words to be derogatory. But I think those people are few and far between, and the more likely scenario is that people honestly just don't know the actual definition of these words and they use them interchangeably because they just don't know. I myself really didn't know the difference between all these different words to describe somebody moving or coming or going to another country until it actually applied to me. You have 3 words to describe movement of peoples and things. You have immigration with an I, emigration with an E, and migration. We're gonna start with migration because migration is the one that is most often used incorrectly because you'll have something like a migrant worker. That cannot exist because migration is a word that is specifically for animals. Then you have immigration and emigration. One is with an I, one is with an E. Most native English speakers, I think, have a difficult time distinguishing, I can't English right now, between the 2 words. And so, because language evolves and all that, you have the word expatriate, which is shortened to expat, which is basically a synonym for emigration with an E. And since there's that confusion between the immigration and emigration, people more often than not will use expat to use that word, except for whatever reasons, people seem to switch around and use expat for immigrant, which you can't, because immigrant is somebody who comes to another country. An expat or an emigrant with an E is somebody who leaves their country. So the best example that I can use is I am an American expat or emigrant with an E because I am somebody who was born in America. I will always be somebody who has left America. I will always be an American expat because my starting point was America. One of the questions I always get is, well, how would you feel if somebody called you an American immigrant? I would feel really superior in my intelligence because I cannot be an American immigrant, because an American immigrant is somebody who came from any other country besides America, because an American immigrant is somebody who came to America and their starting point was somewhere else. In reference to myself, when I lived in France, I could have been a French immigrant as somebody who came to France, and right now I could say that I am a Belgian immigrant, but I can't be a Belgian expat or a French expat because I'm not Belgian or French. I can be an American expat. And so at the end of the day, I think these words sort of depend on who's telling the story and the point of view that they have in relation to these people. But that being said, I also think that the question of expat and immigrant is sort of a personal question that sort of depends on the individual. I know in legal terms, in the eyes of the government, I would be considered a Belgian immigrant. However, and this is a conversation that I've had with my fellow expatriates, people who have left their country, what do they define as an immigrant? And the one thing that we all sort of agree upon is that you officially become an immigrant would you acquire citizenship of your host country. So I would always classify myself personally as an expat only because I don't have citizenship. And also, I never acquired French citizenship. So I was somebody who left my country to go live somewhere else. The difference is permanence. Now, that distinction isn't in the actual definition, and there have been expats that I have personally met who would call themselves immigrants because they just lived there for that long, and although they had no intention of acquiring citizenship, they'd been in their host country for so long that they just sort of considered themselves de facto citizens of the country. I do know that there are people who use these terms to be derogatory, and those people suck. However, at the same time, I also know that there are a group of people over here who want to start something that really isn't a problem, and I just want to say, like, you guys suck too, because as somebody who is an American expat but also a Belgian immigrant, while I do think that things like nationalism, ethnocentrism, and xenophobia is more of a problem in Europe than, say, in America, the words expat and immigrant are not on the top of the list of problems that come to mind when I think of these other negative words. It's just like, no, why are you trying to stir the pot and cause a problem where there isn't one? No, there are far better causes that you could put your energy towards making it better. And I don't know, this is just one of those topics that it's like, it gets under my skin and I want to like rip out my hair, because it seems to me, after talking with expats or immigrants or whatever you want to call yourself, that normally we're always on the same page that this particular thing isn't a problem, but you're constantly hearing about how it's a problem. And the people who seem to think it's a problem are the people who aren't expats or immigrants, and they're getting offended on behalf of us. And I don't know, I'm just sitting here like, I'm not offended, and I don't know any other expats or immigrants who are offended. So like, who are these people that like are offended and you're like getting upset on behalf of them? Because like, I haven't met them. I love to hear your thoughts, opinions in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, family, and strangers on the internet, because that helps me. Hit the red button to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and be sure to come back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because that's when I release new videos. All my social links have been left in the description below for your convenience, and if you'd like to help support the channel, consider checking out my Amazon affiliate link. That's what I have for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tootsies, my applesines. So guys, I'm planning on doing an Ask Me Anything type video in the near future, so if you have a question that has been on your mind that you want to know, tell me in the comments below and I'll answer it in an upcoming video, and it's gonna be epic. It really is, and I'm not biased at all.